All right, guys. So I was gonna do a long post, but I decided to do a video instead. Um, so I just got off a really awesome call with a lovely woman who did one of my realigned purpose sessions, and it was great. And one of the things she came to me because she was wanting clarity of her medicine and her gifts, because I'm really good at that. And here's the thing that I want to tell you guys that's the truth. I get this all the time where people come to me and say, I'm not clear on my medicine, I'm not clear on my gifts. And that's never actually what's going on. It's not that you're not clear. It's really, I was talking to her on the phone, and this happens all the time. I get on the phone, tell me what you do, and people start talking, and it's like, okay, so they're not clear. That's not the issue. The issue is we are afraid of sharing the depth and the fullness of what we do. And I get that. But, one of the things I said to her, because she wanted to know, how do I connect to clients? And I said, you got to stop hiding. What you just shared with me, the depth of what you're talking about, of what you do and what you hold space for, that's what's missing. You can't not share that. She's like, yes, you're right. It's never that we don't know. It's that we're hiding because we're afraid. We're afraid of probably, and I get this because I have that too. I'm afraid of being too woo, and I'm afraid of being too out there, and I'm afraid that people aren't going to connect with what I do, and I'm afraid that, I'm going to be judged or whatever that is. But we've got to stop hiding our depth or feeling like we can't create through it. That we can't possibly create a container, a message, a medicine that really encompasses the fullness of who we are, because we're afraid that we won't be embraced fully in who we are. That's our fear. So it's never the clarity, it's that we're afraid. And so what happens is when we're afraid, when we're fearful, we hide. And then where that starts to impact, if we have a business, if we have a practice, why we don't connect or with clients or whatever, it's because we're not showing ourselves. We're not actually letting ourselves be seen in who we are. We're not sharing the depth of what we do. And once you start to, because I have a lot of time where I'll be talking to somebody and they're sharing me something, and I'll know, I'm like, they're missing a big piece of who they are. They're not sharing themselves. They're not sharing an aspect of their brilliance. And you need to be sharing your brilliance. And I understand that it's sometimes scary to do that. I know for myself, the Women Who Runs with Horses podcast that I started, part of that was because I felt like I needed an outlet to really share some of the depth of exchange that happens between horses and on the path to purpose, and to talk about consciousness and to talk about that stuff, and because it's important. And there's elements where, as I was sharing with this woman too, it's like I have to look at where I'm hiding and I'm not sharing the fullness of who I am, because I've had that programming too, where people have said, you're too out there. What if people don't understand what you say? And one of the things that I'm actually teaching this in my Women Who Run with Horses program right now. 90% of communication is nonverbal. I will tell you that there's many times people will say to me, I watch your videos, I listen to what you say, and I don't understand all the ways, the concepts that you're talking about. I don't completely get it. But there's an energy and a resonance that I connect to. I shared a huge post about Dharma yesterday on my personal page, and I had multiple people tell me they cried. They cried because, and I'll tell you, when I write on my personal page, I'm a little bit freaked out of sharing the full aspect of the journey, because my mom's on there and my cousin's on there, and they're going to think I'm batshit crazy. Who's this woo-woo, person, hi Talia, that is sharing this stuff. So I get it. But I do it anyways. And then what happens is people feel the resonance of it. They connect to the emotion because I'm letting myself be felt. I'm letting myself really share from the depths of who I am and the things that I connect to in the privacy of behind the scenes of my life. I'm sharing it out there, and I'm not hiding those pieces of depth and of purpose and of connection that I'm nurturing behind the scenes of my life. So yes, there's things that we can hold private, but we've got to stop feeling like we're not going to be embraced or accepted for what the brilliance that we're going to bring in the world, or that the world's not ready for it. There's a lot of people that are ready for whatever it is that you're being called to serve out there. and that are not being served and cannot connect because you're not sharing with fullness who you are and what you do. So you've got to share that stuff. You have to let yourself be seen, and you have to let yourself be felt. Well, you don't have to, but it's if you're struggling with pieces of I'm not clear, the very first place I would go, it's not clarity. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of sharing? What are you afraid of exposing? If you think about the things that you're connecting to and experiencing in the privacy of your own experience, what is that? A lot of the times it is like this woman, she does incredible work with wolves and dogs, and I'm talking to her and I'm like, see, this is the shit people need to know that you do. She's like, right. I'm like, this is it. Don't hide these pieces of talking about the depth of what this exchange happens, with wolves, with our spirituality. I think when we kind of flirt the line of being more out there, we tend to feel a little bit cautious of can we share those things without chasing people away. When you own your wisdom and you own what you bring, you will not chase people away. Is there going to be people that don't resonate with what you do? 100%. Not everybody's going to get the work that I do. Not everybody's going to understand when I talk about consciousness and horses and awakening, blah, blah, blah. Not everyone's going to get that. That's cool. Not everyone's going to get what you do. But there's people that will. And when we hide that element of our depth, first of all, we're cutting our own creativity off when you do that. So I look at this all the time sometimes when I'm helping people with their containers or their offerings. It's not selling, I'm not getting clients. 99.9% of the time, it's because you're missing pieces that should be in here. Why aren't they in here? Oh, well, I'm afraid. Or it's like you got to add that shit in there. You got to allow yourself to create from the depth of your creativity and your purpose. Because if people aren't connecting with it, that's why. It's because you're missing pieces. You're not including the pieces that should be in there. She told me she does this, energy work, and it's a little bit of a shamanic process what she does when she works with people and dogs and wolves. And I said, well, how come that's not in there? Oh, you should be sharing that. My most successful things that I've ever done is when I let myself really speak from the depth of including all of the layers that are really encompassed in what I do, not just the surface stuff, because I feel more comfortable there, or I feel like people are going to get that more. Even if people don't understand what you do, or they don't get it, and they don't understand. I remember I had a retreat and I had women out here, and I had one woman, she's like, you talk about holding space all the time. I have no idea what you mean by that. I don't have a clue what that means. It didn't matter that she didn't understand the concept, because she felt the depth of there's something here that I can learn from this place. And that's what she was connected to. Then I can explain it to her when she's here. But when we try to filter ourselves or dim it down, or try to put it in a package that we think people are going to connect to, stop doing that. It's not working. You have to let yourself be seen in the fullness of who you are. Again, you don't have to do whatever you want, but that's going to be the pathway of allowing people to find you, to connect with you, is when you're not hiding elements of yourself. And I get that that's scary. I really do. And this is another thing I was just sharing in my Women Who Run with Horses programs. We have these belief systems, and they are false self-belief systems. And we buy into them way too much. And we believe them where we say we're not going to be embraced for who we are. We can't be seen in who we are. We can't say that stuff. No one's going to get it. Those are your false self, or coaching, we call it your saboteurs. We all have them. I can't tell you how many times I'm writing a post and in my head I'm thinking to myself, this is stupid. Nobody's going to connect with this. It's too long. Blah, 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 blah. That's happening the entire time I'm writing stuff. And I post it anyways. And you know what? 90% of the time, it's the complete opposite impact that I thought I was going to get. I record podcasts sometimes and I think to myself, this is dumb. I don't know, like, I don't even know what I'm talking about or what I'm going to say or how this is going to connect. And I get people telling me, oh my God, that was the most powerful thing I ever written. So we can't trust our own perception of what we think is happening, is what I'm telling you. And we can't let ourselves just go along with our saboteurs and stick them in the driver's seat and decide that they're going to run the show and we believe everything they're going to do. We have an aspect of ourself. You want to call it your higher self or your soul, your authentic self, whatever you want to call it, divine self. She knows better. She knows that to be seen in her light and her fullness is her job. And it is her, it's within her right to do so. And she will connect and have impact when she does. So my higher self isn't afraid to share the depths of my being, or to create programs where I speak about spirituality and business, or I weave in, talk about the word medicine. Hi, Lindsay. She knows that when I started to own that piece, I will tell you that the biggest transformation I had in my business 3 years ago is when I owned my spirituality in my work and I stopped hiding it. When I came out of the woo-woo closet, which people behind the scenes knew I was into all that stuff, but I wasn't sharing it publicly because I was scared. I was scared because I've had people for most of my life tell me that I can't run a business that way. I can't have my crystals out front. I can't, have blah, 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 blah. And there was a part of me that said, you have to be your authentic self and you have to share those pieces because that's part of your magic. So now I do. And now every time I notice myself feeling uncomfortable, I know I'm in that old belief system that says I can't be who I am. I can't share this stuff. People aren't going to get what I'm talking about. People don't get what I'm talking about all the time, but because they feel the resonance of what I'm sharing and the depth of it, they know that they're connected to that. So it's not our words, it's our presence. And when we don't allow ourselves to be fully present in what we're creating, we're cutting off all kinds of opportunity. We're also cutting off our creativity, and it's out of alignment and integrity with who we are. So stop hiding. If you had gave yourself full permission to speak and to share the fullness of what you do and who you are and what you connect to and what goes down in your meditations and all of that stuff, what would you say? What would you create? I love that I get in my business, I get to go deep with people. I get to talk about energy. I get to talk about spirituality. I get to talk about our mindset. I get to do guided audios. I love it. I love it. It sings to me because it's like, this is the stuff that I'm meant to create. I love that I'm connecting with women that I love working with because they're on the same wavelength. And the only reason that's happening is because I'm letting myself create from that perspective. So give yourself permission to go there. Know that your full self will be embraced. Stop cutting off and leaving out elements of your medicine and your message because you're afraid that it might scare somebody off. It might. But it's not. It's going to connect to who you are, and it also just feels better when we allow ourselves to be authentic. So stop hiding. Stop hiding. It doesn't serve anything. And it's our fear and our false self voices. Yeah. See? And there's a part of me sometimes that it's like, I love what I do so much. It's so fun. I can't believe I do this and get paid for it. That's how it should feel. I create programs based on how I literally create be authentic in my day-to-day life. Everything that I teach, this is what I'm doing behind the scenes. This is how I'm creating my business. This is how I'm meditating with my horses. This is how I'm moving through things. It's fluid. It's not separate from that. And it's powerful, and it's that easy actually. So allow yourself to give space to that, create through that. When you're hiding, you're cutting off opportunity, you're cutting off abundance, you're cutting off your own creativity, and it's lacking depth. So speak and create through your depth. If you weren't afraid of being seen, if you weren't afraid of being judged, what would you speak to? What would you share? What would you create? I spoke to this woman and she was telling me about her programs that she's done, and I said, awesome. There's another program that you really need to create that really includes everything that you just talked about of what you do. And it's amazing. I'm going to get her on the podcast because her work is incredible. I said, people, this is what's missing, is people don't know this stuff, and it's brilliant. And you need to create something that speaks to this, because all the other stuff you've created is surface stuff. And it's really great, and it's a good first step, but you've got to let yourself create the depth. That's where our power is, that's where our brilliance is, that's where our genius is. And so I'm reminded of that all the time. I'll tell you, the most success, again, I've had in any of my programs is when I've allowed myself to create from that place of depth. 100%. So that's what's missing. You're missing. You're not being fully present. So don't hide these elements of your genius and your gifts and your brilliance because you're afraid of how it's going to be received. It's also going to be your secret ingredient or your secret power to creating that pathway and that revenue and whatever it is you're seeking to create. And when we create through the fullness of ourselves, it just feels better for us. It doesn't feel good when we're cutting off aspects of who we are. It doesn't feel good. It's not our alignment. It's not aligned. So stop doing that, please. Also, you're hoarding yourself. For those of us, like I talked to this woman, I'm like, this shit is so fucking brilliant. It's so good. People need to know this stuff. It's so good. I love hearing about it. It was such an inspiring conversation. It's like, don't hide this stuff from people. That's hoarding. You're hoarding when you do that. You are hoarding, and hoarding is badness. So stop hoarding. Hoarding is badness. And you will be embraced with who you are. And the other piece of it is own it. You know, I was sharing, I'll finish this part quick because I have a lot of stuff I need to be creating today. We were talking about, I said to her, listen, I don't know why I know the shit that I know. I haven't been taught it. My horses teach me a lot. I don't know how I know stuff. I don't know where that came from. I have studied with shamanic teachers. I've done all that, but there's just shit that I know. I just know shit. Because I think that's what being intuitive is about. Own it. Own that you know stuff. That you have gifts. Take ownership of that. That's what we're born with. It's in our soul. We're connected to a deeper source of just wisdom. It's from many, many, many lifetimes that you've lived. We don't have to explain where that comes from. We don't have to have certificates of I will study to do that. Not that I don't think that stuff is important. I've done learning and I've been certified and all of that stuff, but most of the stuff that I teach is not anything that I learned. It's just stuff that I know. I just know it. I can't tell you where that comes from. I think it comes from a collective consciousness. It's just we're channeled in being intuitive. But own your wisdom. Own what you know. Own your intuition. Claim it. It's powerful when you do that. And it's yours to own. So there's that piece too. So don't shy away from that. There was a comment this woman made about, well, I'm humble. I said, you don't even have to explain that. You don't even say that, because that's actually, that's your ego talking. Some of us have really big egos that say, oh, I'm the shit and I'm all this. Some of our egos work in the place of, oh, don't claim that too much, because you might be seen as bragging. You're not. There's nothing more powerful than taking ownership of your wisdom. So there's that piece too. So own it. Doesn't matter how you know the things that you know or where that comes from, just that you know it. And so claim it. Speak with authority. Share your depth and all of that stuff, because it's important. It's important for you, and it's important for the people that are going to be impacted by what you do. So that's my mini love rant to you guys for the day. And it's very impactful for your business. So if you run a business and you're like, I don't understand why I'm not getting clients or people don't connect with me, I'm going to say probably a big piece of it is you're not sharing who you are. You're hiding aspects of yourself so people can't connect to you because you're not there. So be present and speak to your authenticity, and people will be there. That's the secret. Okay? So that's it. On a side note, tomorrow I'm starting a series of webinars tomorrow. They're free to join me, just talking about the path to manifesting our purpose and our visions. And I'm going to speak about kind of the journey of what led me here, mindset stuff. So it'll be a very rich sort of content. So I'll do a post later just sharing the link. You have to sign up to, if you can't make it live, it's all recorded, but you got to sign up to get the recording. So there's that. The other thing is, if you're sitting here listening to this and you say, I know all this is true, Hillary, and you're speaking to me, but I don't know how to get over myself, this happens to be what we're very gifted at. We hold space to give you clarity and empowerment of your depth so you can create through it. So We had a really amazing session with this woman today. She did email and say it's the best session she's ever done with anybody. So I'm going to own that. So if you need some help, we have the single session. It's a single session. You spend 90 minutes with me. There's a lot that gets covered. If you need a little bit of help, just like an extra boost of getting over yourself, we're doing that. So I will add that opportunity in here too if you need it. The other thing too, when I talk about the membership site that I'm creating, and there's probably going to be different levels because I've had a little bit of different feedback. Part of the intention of that space, when there is an exchange, it actually gives me more permission to actually get in there and support you. So I sort of always, when I have that exchange of when people do a program with me, it's more powerful because I have more permission. I think part of having an exchange is you're giving me permission to support. So when we transition into the membership, will probably be happen mid to next month. It's a softer place for, I know not everybody has the resources to invest, but I'm trying to create options for it's lower, but it'll let me help a little bit more. It's really good to get support sometimes because we get stuck in our saboteurs, right? So if we could move ourselves, we would. This would be a little bit of a taste of, and I would go a little bit deeper of what can be expected in that type of container. So that's coming. I just have to sit with some things because I'm getting some different feedback from people of what they're looking for. So there's probably going to be a couple of different options for support because I'm listening to my tribe. So those are the things. Yeah, we all need to get over ourselves. This is what my horses are really good at doing for me, by the way. Live with a herd of horses. They kick your ass every day. Also my own mentor, so it's important. Okay, so I'm going to share the links. There's a single session if you want to do it. Also stay tuned for the membership site. Also, if you want about 4 hours of goodness from me, sign up for the webinars because they're free. It's good stuff. And that's it. And this is if this resonating, and then do something with this stuff, right? If it really lands for you, sit with it and what can I actually do with this? How can I pull it forward? So that's my inquiry to you. Yeah. What's a great idea? The membership site? I also think it's a great idea. I just have to sometimes figure out how I'm going to structure it. And I'll tell you, this is where I got, and I shared this a little bit. I like being generous and sharing a lot of stuff, but I also know that I do sort of, my desire for my tribe is I'm glad that you guys find this supportive. I think when you have a container like a membership site, what again, that gives me permission to do is actually hold you accountable to some of the stuff, because what I actually really want is for y'all to do something with this stuff, because it's not good enough just for us to hear something and be like, oh, that really resonates, and then continue on our way doing the things that we've done, but to actually take action and have courage to do the things that we feel called to do that we're not doing. Yeah, it is a good idea. So I'm just kind of percolating with it to, hi Camille, to make sure that it'll encompass the things that I want and how I want to structure it. But it's a deeper level of accountability and support. And I'm trying to be able to meet people where they're at, because I know everybody's at a different level in terms of financial commitments and stuff like that too. But I'll be sort of doing less sharing in here because, like I said, I had multiple people tell me this month that I give away too much. And normally I wouldn't pay attention to that, but I also been feeling for my horses like you really actually have to pay attention to that and not give so much away for free. I'll still always, generosity, but this is a way of, hi Camille, of also honoring, the responsibilities that I have for all these horses I'm giving homes to. So, and it's more powerful. It gives me more permission to kick your butt. So it's coming. So it'll be probably revealed in the next week or two. For that, so there'll be a little bit less in here and more stuff in the membership site for people that resonate for that. Okay, that's it. So that's my message today. So there's the webinars tomorrow, single session if you want it, and the upcoming membership site. So I'll give y'all all of that content, okay? And then questions, comments, as always, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for being part of the tribe. And I say all of this with love, and I also know this stuff really works. So it comes from a place of this shit works. Okay, that's it. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I don't know what my dogs are doing. That's it. Yep, that's it. All right, bye guys.